Plus, new details about the gunman who killed 2 people and left 6 others injured. And 1 day to go until Election Day. We'll tell you what you need to know before heading to the polls.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 at noon. What I need to learn is what microphone to put on. Chris Reese is over in the Weather Center with a look at our first alert forecasts, and winter's on the way, apparently.
Yeah, it is. In fact, we have seen that just about all this time. Apparently, I need to turn the mic on as well.
Can we
That's
start
one of
over?
those things. It's a Monday. It's a Monday. We have a whole week to finally redeem ourselves. It's cloudy out there as well. Here's a live look outside right now. You'll see the cloud cover. We've seen that all day. Temperatures are still in the 40s at 48 degrees. This is about as warm as we're going to get today. We may warm up a couple more degrees into the low 50s, but for the most part, as thick as this cloud cover is, it's going to be hard to get those temperatures to warm up much more. Here, temperatures across south central Wisconsin, we are all in the 40s except for Janesville, which is at 50 degrees right now. More and more cloud cover on the way, along with rain chances beginning to work their way in from the west. Here's the entire system right now that came through yesterday. That is now well east of here. The next system, though, that's moving in right now. So we're going to watch that one over Iowa and parts of Nebraska as it begins to work its way into the upper Midwest. For that reason, though, we do have an alert day, not necessarily because the weather is going to be severe, but tomorrow's Election Day. A lot of folks are going to be out standing in lines. We are expecting some wind, rain, and very chilly conditions. It's going to be a pretty nasty day, but we will all get through it. Don't let that deter you from going to the polls. If you think tomorrow is bad, there's some uglier weather coming our way this week, depending on who you ask.
That's right.
And I will, of course, break down all of the latest in that forecast as we track an active pattern coming up.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Chris. Police say the 21-year-old driver accused of striking and killing 3 Girl Scouts and the mother and injuring a 4th girl had been inhaling chemical vapors before the crash in northwestern Wisconsin. 21-year-old Colton True is being held on $250,000 bond while he faces charges of vehicular homicide. Authorities are recommending 13 charges against him, including 4 counts of homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle. Lake Hallie police say True and a passenger in his pickup truck told police they'd been intentionally inhaling chemical vapors or huffing just before the crash around 11:30 Saturday morning. Authorities identified the girls killed as 9-year-old Jana Kelly and 10-year-old Autumn Helgerson, both of Lake Hallie, and 10-year-old Haley Hickel from the town of Lafayette. Hickel's mother, 32-year-old Sarah Jo Schneider, also killed. The victims were picking up trash in the ditches of County Highway P when they were hit. New details are emerging about the gunman who killed 2 people and left 6 others injured at a yoga studio in Tallahassee. 40-year-old Scott Beerley, who opened fire at the yoga studio Friday night, had a history of violence toward young women. Court records show he was charged with battery in 2016 after he allegedly slapped and grabbed a woman at a pool, and he faced another battery charge for grabbing a woman in a campus dining hall. Police say he posed as a customer to gain entrance into the yoga studio before he started shooting without warning. He shot 4 more people and pistol whipped a man before he turned the gun on himself. Police say they are still investigating Beerley's motive. The Trump administration's tough new sanctions on Iran have taken effect, but 8 major importers of Iranian oil are being spared from immediate penalties. The sanctions target Iran's energy, financial, and shipping sectors and are aimed at crippling the country's economy following President Trump's withdrawal from the 2015 nuclear deal. But as the administration seeks to cut off Iran's oil revenue, it will allow some of its closest allies and rival China to continue to purchase Iranian oil as long as they work to reduce imports to 0. Besides China, Greece, India, Italy, Turkey, South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan get U.S. sanction waivers for Iran oil imports. Well, less than 24 hours to go until Election Day. There is a last-minute push by candidates to convince voters across the state to vote for them. Democratic candidates for the statewide races will join Tony Evers this afternoon as he makes stops in Beloit, Janesville, and Whitewater before his final stop in Madison at the Majestic Theater, where he'll be hosting a Get Out the Vote rally. His running mate, Lieutenant Governor candidate Mandela Barnes, will meet him at the Majestic. Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Tammy Baldwin will be with him on all of today's stops. And candidate for Attorney General Josh Kaul will join him as well after his own trip across the state. That event starts at 4 o'clock. And Republican candidates will be making their final push for your vote as well. U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir will be in Green Bay, Wausau, Eau Claire, and La Crosse before meeting up with other GOP leaders in Waukesha. That's where Governor Walker and outgoing House Speaker Paul Ryan will be as well tonight. And make News 3 your election night destination for the fastest numbers and best analysis. At 7 o'clock on WISC, CBS News national coverage begins. We will break in with live local updates all night on WISC. And then starting at 8 o'clock, you can watch continuous live local uninterrupted coverage on our digital platforms, Channel 3000, Facebook, and YouTube. At 9 p.m., our local coverage will be available on Fox 47. And at 10 o'clock, join us right here on WISC for election night coverage. There's more to come here at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Beef bourguignon. Beef bourguignon. Beef bourguignon. If only I could say it like Julia Child did. A few weeks ago, I was watching some vintage clips of Julia Child on YouTube, and I couldn't help but think how ahead of her time she was. The episode that stuck in my head was when she made beef bourguignon, which is basically a rich beef stew accented with red wine. So the other day, I made my version of it, and now I want to share it with you. We begin by cutting some beef chuck into cubes. Then we add it to a bowl and season it with a bit of pepper and thyme before browning it in a large pot. Once it's browned, we add some beef broth, red wine, and a bit of garlic. We cover it and let it simmer. After this cooks for a bit, we'll toss in some chunks of carrot, potato, onions, and mushrooms and let those cook until they're tender. All that's left to do is thicken up the sauce, and it's ready to serve. It's so basic, yet sounds so fancy. As for the taste, the sauce is so rich, the meat is crazy tender, and the vegetables bring the whole dish together. To get the recipe for what Julia called boeuf bourguignon with her one-of-a-kind accent, or to most of us, simply beef bourguignon, just go to our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a Julia Child-inspired way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Nice impression, Howard. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. A cloudy start to the work week with possible showers. Meteorologist Chris Reese will have your first alert forecast when we come back. This Our call for action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. The number to call is 608-270-2833. Let's look at Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 129 points. The NASDAQ, however, down almost 68. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee is out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. And Pam will be back with us tomorrow. Chris Reese is here today. Things are going downhill.
Yeah, if that's what you want to use, it is certainly going downhill, especially as we go through the next several days. The temperature department, oh yeah, hitting rock bottom. It's going to be the first blast of cold coming on through when the system that is coming our way is going to be what ushers in that first blast of cold. Now here's how the radar looks right now. There's not really a lot of rain across the state. We had more of that last night. Since then, there have been some pockets of drizzle, but for the most part, it's been the cloud cover that we have seen all day long. More and more cloud cover actually working its way in from the south and west right now. That is where they are seeing the rain. But in the meantime, outside just looks very, very gray and cloudy. The temperature 48 degrees. It's going to be hard to get those temperatures out of the 40s simply because the cloud cover is going to be working to keep things cool. So the only spot in the 50s right now is Janesville. Otherwise, it's 40s for all of us, and it's going to be staying that way for the most part. As we do head into the afternoon, here's how things are going to play out, though. By about 4 or 5 o'clock, you're going to see those rain showers moving back into the picture. That's the next system coming our way, and that rain really increases. Here we are at 9 o'clock with widespread rain across the entire area. The good news is that by the time we start waking up tomorrow morning, a lot of this rain will be beginning to break up and work its way on out of the area. So for the voters at the polls tomorrow, we're actually going to see some drier conditions in the later half of the day. In fact, by the time polls close, temperatures will be in the 30s. The thing is, it will be chilly and rather breezy as this comes on through, followed up by an Arctic blast just in time for the weekend. Watch how this swings on through, bringing a lot of cold air, multiple shots of some colder air as we go through the next 8 to 10 days. And the thing is, those will be bringing chances for snow, which is not unheard of. In fact, today is November 5th. Typically around November 5th, we have our average first measurable snow. We haven't seen that yet. The first inch typically comes around November 18th. And I do think we have shots at seeing that simply because Alberta Clippers will be coming their way into our picture. That's a system that develops and dives out of Canada, grabs into some colder air in the jet stream, and then gets pushed across the country quickly. Usually those bring about 1 to 3 inches in their wake. Here's that cold air once again, and watch the systems. Each little notch that you see here is a wave of low pressure coming along with that cold air, and that is the chance for some Alberta Clipper systems. In fact, we are going to be watching for those to come on through. The first one possibly on Friday, followed up with another system Friday night, another one on Saturday, and then we're watching the possibility of another one as we go from Monday night and into your Tuesday. So a very active pattern certainly shaping up for us around here. Also, an alert day Tuesday, again, not just because the weather is bad, because it's not going to be all that terrible, but that is nonetheless election day. A lot of folks are going to be out, so grab the umbrellas. A snow chance Thursday night into Friday, another one Friday night into Sunday. For now, we're going to keep Tuesday dry, but of course, we're going to watch that next system as that could bring a chance for some light snow Monday night and into Tuesday. None of those look like any major deal.
So later
Just
in the day
light.
tomorrow, it should be dry.
But later in the day tomorrow should be dry.
So if you're going to vote after work, should be okay.
Yeah, that's the way it looks as of now. It'll be cold and windy, but
That's
dry.
okay.
Yes.
It's Wisconsin. It's November.
This is true.
All right, Chris, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. I'm next. Linda Bartz from the Bruce Company is here. She's answering your plant and garden questions. 270-9933 is the number to call. We'll get to your calls right after this. Linda Barch from the WISC-TV is here taking your calls at 270-9933. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You brought bulbs. It's not too late?
It's not too late to plant them, but this weather is going to be really difficult. So,
Like today.
if you have a window, you should, and if you haven't gotten bulbs planted, get them in the ground. It's not too late.
You can, as long as it's not frozen.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. A couple of house plants, brighten things up.
I did. This is an interesting kalanchoe. It has a little variegated edge to it. That's a little bit unusual. And then amaryllis are becoming available, as well as I have a cute little wintergreen down front with the red berries on it.
It's amaryllis time, I guess.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's go to the phones. We will start with Larry from Wisconsin Dells. Hi, Larry.
Yeah, I was wondering what time of the year you trim your grapes back.
Okay, grapes.
So do you cut them back to the stump or what?
You don't do that now, because what's going to happen is we typically go through some winter weather that can be pretty damaging if you prune your grapes back to the appropriate points, and you don't take it back to the stem. You're going to take it back to the branches that you've trained for development. I think it's really helpful for people to go out to a place like Wallersheim and see how they
do
prune
it?
their grapes.
Yeah.
And it's actually closer to spring that you want to be pruning them,
Okay,
but
not
not
now.
too late in spring.
Okay, let's go to Ron in Dane. Hi, Ron.
Hi.
How much question?
Yes, I have a question on calla lilies. I'm digging them now, or well, I'm just about done, but when I'm digging them, because it is so muddy this year and the soil got packed down, a lot of those little white, kind of like a root type thing that's on them, they get ripped off. Is that going to hurt them any?
Well, what is going to be important for you to do, because yes, digging things up, lay them out and let them all get nice and dry. And typically, if you can do it so you can let this outside, but with all the rain, that's probably not going to be the best way, especially since we're getting down into freezing temperatures. So if you could take them into a garage or something and just lay them separate, don't put them all into a box, or you're going to have rot that's going to start to occur. So where those little white pieces have broken off, you want that to air dry so that you don't get rot moving in like a potato or something.
Okay, so put them in the garage, keep them dry.
Let them dry and then pack them away in sawdust or something.
Okay, let's go to Kay in Verona. Hi, Kay. Kay, you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, what's your question?
Yes, I have a hens. Yes,
Go ahead.
I have a hens and chicks that I brought in from outside, and now I see it starting to turn brown and drop off some of the little chicks, and it's in a strawberry pot. Now, how do I take care of that when I got it inside?
Well, if you have it in a strawberry pot, then you're going to try to treat it as a house plant. So this plant is if it was in the ground, it could survive our winters outside. But in a strawberry pot, that's probably going to freeze and crack and break apart. So you're going to treat it like a house plant, let it get dry before you water it again, and give it as much sunlight as possible. If you have a south-facing window, that's going to be the best bet.
They're an outdoor plant.
It's an outdoor plant. It can be used as a succulent on the inside, but with the reduced light, it's going to throw off a bunch of the plant.
Okay, let's go to Delbert in Boaz. Hi, Delbert.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you there?
Yes.
What's your question?
When's a good time to plant fruit trees like cherry and plum?
I would say that I would wait till next spring to plant those. They're not going to be available, and if you're transplanting something, I guess you could potentially do it now that the leaves are off. Otherwise, early spring before they leaf out would be a good time.
Other than bulbs, this is not planting season.
This is not really good planting season, but bulbs, yes, should go in the ground.
All right, and other than that, the lawn, just clean it up and...
Yes, make sure that the lawn you don't have to cut it real short, but 2 inches, cut it back and get the leaves off the grass, because if the leaves and they freeze on there, that can really create problems.
Okay, all right, we're out of time. If you're on the line, stay there. Linda will talk to you off the air. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
All right, let's get one final check of the forecast. Here's Chris.
And so far, we're going to keep that cloud cover around going through the rest of today. Temperatures will top out in the upper 40s and low 50s. Rain chances will be moving back in overnight and throughout Tuesday morning. Some of that rain can come down at a pretty good clip at times, but like I said, most of that should be overnight. That's the good news. Throughout Election Day, rain chances will be around early, but decreasing throughout the afternoon. Temperatures will be falling throughout the afternoon as well, so the warmest part of the day will be early. On Tuesday, we'll be in the 30s by the time polls close.
All right, get on the vote. That's our time for now. We'll see you back here at 4. Have a great afternoon.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.